3 years ago, I took one of the biggest risks of my life. I lived in Los Angeles, I was doing well there, I had my friends, my businesses, my routine, but something in me wanted more. More energy, more inspiration, more challenges. I had always wanted to live in New York City. To me, New York represented something bigger. Opportunity, growth, possibility. So in May of 2022, I took a gamble. I found an apartment online, I signed the lease without ever stepping foot in it, and when I walked in for the first time, I honestly couldn't believe it. My new home was on the 70th floor in downtown Manhattan. I felt like a little kid again. This was my dream apartment. I could see the Brooklyn Bridge from my windows. I could see the World Trade Center. I was higher than the helicopter tours that would fly by every day. This view made me immediately fall in love with New York City. And for over 3 years, this apartment became more than just my home. It's where I shot hundreds of videos, hosted my friends, and even brought home my first ever dog, Truffle. And these are memories that I'm gonna carry with me forever. But now, it's time to close that chapter. And the hardest part about leaving isn't the apartment itself, it's what it represents. When I moved to LA, I was a kid. I was 23 years old. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I got a job offer to host an online show for $60,000 a year, which was twice what I was making. So even though I had never been to LA before, I took a big risk, packed my bags, moved within a week of getting that job offer. But that job lasted about a year before I got laid off and before I went on unemployment. And that was a really low point for me in my life. I was just doing everything I could to pay rent and not have to pack my bags and move out of LA feeling like a failure. And look, in the end, I figured it out. I grew my social media, I got a job at Google, then I quit 3 years later and I became self-employed, which was another huge leap of faith. I lived in LA for 10 years. I learned so much. I felt like LA was actually my forever home. But when I got the itch to move, when I felt like I had extracted everything LA had to offer, New York was the obvious answer. But this time, it was a completely different move. I was a grown man, I was 33 years old. My businesses were doing well, I had friends in New York City, I didn't have to go through the same struggles that I went through in LA. I wasn't scared that I wasn't gonna be able to stay here because I couldn't afford it. So it felt really good, it felt completely different because I was in control of the situation. So the past 3 years, they were amazing. Right? It was an amazing chapter of my life. And moving out isn't just about the four walls, it's closing that chapter. This apartment is where everything started for me, and all of that is ending today. But why? If I loved that apartment so much, why leave? The truth is, as incredible as it just wasn't the right fit anymore. First, it wasn't walkable. And now that I have Truffle, I want to take him out on long walks. I want to get coffee. I want to go to the local bodega, right? I want to live that New York life. I want to live in an area where I could step outside and immediately feel the energy of the city. And as much as I loved that apartment, I was a 10-minute drive from those places. And it doesn't sound like a lot, I know, but now I have 10 coffee shops within a 5-minute walk from me. It's really different. Also, I thought that living in that luxury building would mean meeting cool people in the common areas, in the amenities, networking, because it's a cool, expensive building. I thought it'd be a great place to network, but it actually turned out to not be true. And it was a lot of rich students, which is crazy. I can't even imagine what it would be like to have my parents pay that much in rent for me to go to school in New York City. That just wasn't my experience growing up. So I didn't expect that. And then, of course, there's Emily. We've been building this chapter, this life together, and moving into a new place felt like the perfect way to start fresh. Our space, our chapter together. And last but not least, I ran into some privacy issues that can't get into too much right now for legal reasons, but let's just say it just became clear that it was time for a change. Now, all of that led me to the conclusion that it was time for a fresh start, a new apartment, a new neighborhood. And I know I'm gonna get these two questions, so let me just answer them and get them out of the way. First, why not buy instead of renting, especially with these insane New York City rent prices? Two main reasons, basically. The biggest one being, I want location freedom. I don't want to be tied up to one location. I thought about buying that apartment that I was in, actually, and I came close to it, and I'm so glad I didn't because I would be struggling to sell it or rent it out now. And I would have lost money on that deal and probably would have had to stay, even though I didn't want to, just because the real estate market sucks right now. And second, after buying a couple of properties, I learned that I should only buy if it's an amazing investment, meaning it's gonna bring me revenue, it's easy to manage, right? Or if it's a place that I actually have a massive emotional tie to. Like a place that I want to own forever, a place that's close to my family or in a location that I absolutely love forever. And the second question I know I'll get is, how is the new apartment? Well, first of all, I rented it. And even though I don't have a sick view anymore, it's somehow costs more than my last place, which is crazy, but as you know, location is everything. The new place fits my life so much better right now. The location is a 10 out of 10. It's hard to explain how good this place is. You know, I take Truffle out on a walk every day. We're closer to everything, to the best restaurants, the best coffee shops, nightlife, grocery stores, energy, people. I just wanted to actually feel like I'm living in the middle of New York City, not just looking at it from above. And it also feels like a better place for me and Emily. She moved into the other apartment last year, and as much as I tried to make it really comfortable for her, you know, it still felt very much like my apartment. Now we get to decorate the new apartment together, which will be fun. So this new place, it's a lot more than just a change of scenery. It's about creating a better lifestyle, being closer to the things and the people that I care about, setting myself up for what's next, whatever that is. And I've been getting a lot of questions about whether or not I'm posting a full apartment tour, and honestly, I'm not sure yet, especially because of these privacy issues that I can't get into right now. But if you watch my vlog channel, Alex Costa Behind the Business, then you see a little bit more of the new place already because we've been posting there and I've been having a lot of fun with that channel. So you can go check it out. I'll list it in the description. And I want to end this video with one question for you. I've been doing this for a long time. I like sharing a lot of my life here with you, but lately I've been struggling to figure out what to post on this channel. So the question is, how can I help you? What do you want to see on this channel? Let me know in the comments. That would be extremely helpful and appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one.